So now the primary market, you already know, is like Public Storage and CubeSmart and all this kind of stuff, right? And so like, we're the mom and pops, right? So we're going to be playing in either the secondary market or the tertiary market. And tertiary just means country, right? So in the like the little tiny cities and stuff. But what Marcus and Millichap told us was that, like, the primary markets, we all know, is oversaturated. Bigger players have come in, taken over. There's no way for us little people to come in. But the really great thing is that there's no way for even secondary market players to get into the primary market, right? And even secondary market players right now are having a hard time finding really good deals. And her facility was like, they ran the numbers and came up with like a 6.25% cap rate, and she's in a secondary market. So that shows me too that even in like secondary markets, they're still playing like higher, like, these bigger players are okay with paying a higher cap rate, right? So I would I'd be running those numbers at like a 7 cap and an 8 cap. And like, I would say pretty much across the board, every facility that we put offers on, we're between a 7 and an 8 cap, except for in Texas, right? Texas is still like a little bit more expensive. They're like a little snooty over there. They think their stuff is like way higher, right? And in like, of course, California is in the West Coast is a little bit more expensive. I would say from Texas to the West Coast, but Texas, like over to the East Coast, you can get really good deals if you go to the owner and offer between a 7 and an 8 cap. And people think that they're like, you got it for a 7 or an 8 cap. And I'm thinking like, all my deals are like way above that anyways. But so like Marcus and Milltrap, they were like so happy. Like they were like freaking out that they could get something at a 6.25% cap rate. And there was still meat on the bone to be able to raise those prices to an 8 cap. Like they were like, this never happens, like never. And I was just like, and we were just thinking like, what? Because I'm thinking to myself like, what? Because I find those deals like all the time, So it just makes me realize that, the bigger players are just used to paying more money. Whereas like us little people, like we want to get the best deal out there, right? We're like, pushing to get the highest number we could possibly get. And so that was really exciting to me too, that, and they told us, they basically said like secondary and tertiary markets are like hot commodity right now, hot commodity, because the primary market is so oversaturated with all the bigger players and everybody that has money and stuff, and then all the suburbs. Like when I say primary market, I also say like suburbs of primary markets and stuff. This is where all the bigger players are. This is where all the money is. Everybody's okay with buying stuff for a 4 cap and taking it to a 5 cap, or buying stuff for maybe a 5 cap and getting it to a 6 cap. But when you can find something that's like, over a 6 cap and take it to an 8 cap, like they were just like, this is like unheard of. Like this is not normal. Now think about that, because like if you go on to like Crexy or LoopNet and you find like good stabilized facilities, right? Good facility. I mean, she took it from like a 50 to 60% like a vacancy, or sort of like, I guess, occupancy, all the way up to like 85 to 90% for her 630 units. So she did a lot of the grunt work, right? And so that's what we're here to do, right? So for me, getting out there and looking for like a good deal. And in fact, we put, like, my team last week, we put 13 offers in. 13 offers. And and all of those offers were like from like 7 and 8 caps. Like I think maybe I would say maybe 1 or 2 of those was like less than a 7 cap. Okay. And we already got 1 under contract, and we're about to get a couple more under contract. We've got like people taking their contracts and getting them reviewed by attorneys and like this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things in the works, but essentially, like, that's where our offers are standing, and that's where the people are, they're accepting. We have one right now. It's like 2 facilities. I'm not going to tell you where it is because we don't have it under contract yet, but the attorney's reviewing the contract. But it's essentially 2 facilities. One, they're like within 5 minutes of each other. One of them was like 50 units, and the other one was 100 units. So it was a total of like 150 units. He's making like $150,000, $160,000, I think is what he's making, and he wants to sell it for $1.5 million, right? Which is like right about where it should be anyways, right? So it's that's a good like, number to be at. But he hasn't raised his rates in like a year or so. So we're going to take it from like 50 cents a square foot to like 60 cents a square foot. So it can't go up super high, but it isn't a tertiary market. You can't go up super high, but you can go up a little bit. And just by adding, that 10 cents per square foot, you're taking it from like a $1.5 million facility to like almost, it's like $2.9 million facility, so, and that's right. Like, that's like a 7 cap. That's like at a 7 cap. So there's really, really good deals out there if you talk to owners. All right. So I just wanted to point that out. And I also just wanted to remind everybody that your job is to build mini portfolios.